All right, if loving you is wrong, fans, this is a review for the final season, episode 3, Under the Influence, and not a big fan of the episode. If you watched the live stream last night, or if you were on Twitter, which again, I do live tweet. I do my best to do that. So make sure you follow me on social media. All the links to that good stuff in the description below. We are a little less than 400 followers away from 19,000 on Instagram, so make sure you'll follow me on there. I just spent a couple hours this morning posting a lot of stuff to various social media platforms, so make sure you don't miss out. But this episode, okay, again, not terrible, but it just wasn't that good. I felt the pacing was a bit all over the place, way too many commercials, and I did check because people have uploaded the episode online on various platforms, which I'm not going to say because of the fact that people, I'll explain that later. But yeah, the episode was 42 minutes, but there were some major problems. First of all, so we get the first scene, and it looks like, Lou notices through the windows near Ian's front door that he and Alex are getting it on the stairwell. Then he tells Brad that, oh, you know what? Ian isn't there. He got picked up by somebody, so there's nobody here. And then, Brad is, upset about Alex and how she's acting. It's like, we got a 16-year-old babysitter, and it's a school night, and, Alex is just gone. And I'm just like, wow. Which is interesting because when she... Okay, I'm a little confused by this. I didn't even think of it until just now. Isn't this supposed to be the weekend? Because I know, like, Larry kept saying, hey, this is fun time weekend, him and his partner that he would do SMS stuff with. And then didn't he say his wife, who we meet in the episode, was away for the weekend for her getaway as well? So how in the world is it a school night? Not to mention, when Randall said stuff in the last episode, like, look, I'll be at your office in the morning. I'm assuming like, oh, it must be Sunday. Oh, wait, hang on. That actually makes sense. Because if it's Sunday, then that means she has school the next day. Oops, my bad. My bad. I tripped over my own self. I didn't think about that. But anyway, more to the point, Brad goes back home. Lucien is like, he reassures him, hey, if I hear anything, me or Natalie will give you a call. So yeah, maybe she just went off to blow some steam. And then, they both go back to their respective homes. This is like maybe 2.5. I don't even think we were even three. Yeah, we weren't even like 3 minutes into this episode because you got to count the recap from last week's episode, then the beginning of this episode. So barely 2.5 to 3 minutes of episode. And we have to sit through like 8 minutes of commercials. It was like maybe 10:03 when the show went to commercial break. And it was almost like 10:10 when the show came back, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So Lucien gets back, and we spend the next several minutes of Natalie, pretty much wanting to know what's going on, and Lou compares her to like a Miss Ross. I'm thinking, wait, is this a Diana Ross thing? But no, it's basically this old woman he knew of when he was younger, who pretty much was still on her stoop and, wonder about everything, watch everyone, and not know how to stay in her own business. Now, here's the thing. After Natalie just goes on like a rant about, how she's worried about Alex, what's going on, and Lou finally tells her what happened in regards to Ian and Alex, and she's like, I'm going to call her right now, tell her to bring her butt home. And then Lou was like, look, that ain't none of our business. Let's just go home. Let's go to bed, get some rest. Now, let me put it this way. Natalie did make a valid point. Look, it's it's the middle of the night. Somebody's knocking on my door. I feel like I deserve a right to know what's going on. I actually agree with her. But in regards to her calling Alex, I don't think so. I think that was something that, I think Lucien did say, hey, Brad's over there and Marcy with the kids. So, ain't nothing to worry about on that front. So that's good. But yeah, I agree that maybe in the situation, no need of calling, because even if Natalie did call, Alex was not going to answer that damn phone. I mean, Brad had called a few times, the babysitter had called, and then Marcy using Brad's phone had called. So it doesn't really matter. So in any case, they go to bed, and that's about it. Eddie's in the cell with that guy who was arrested for like bar fighting and whatnot. Eddie's just mouthing off, and pretty much, the guy's waiting on a guard shift like every 15 minutes. It reminds me of what Wyatt was doing in jail when he slit his wrist, saying, you know what, nobody's going to come in. They're doing a guard swap, and then that's when he strategically timed it to, take himself out. But basically, Eddie's just, again, mouthing off, goes to bed. He's like, what, you eyeballing me? Fine. You know what? Ain't no need waiting no guard swap. We can fight right now. And then he gets in bed. And next thing you know, I believe Kelly's singing Amazing Grace. And least expected. Yeah, basically they get into it. He's too crazy to care about the pain from the hits. It's almost like Batman punching Joker. It's like, he's going to just laugh the entire time he's getting a beat down. So next thing you know, the cop comes and the officer comes in, takes the guy to another cell. And, Kelly's saying Amazing Grace, saying, you know what? The people, you're going to get what's coming to you, Eddie, from the person you least expected from. Then we go to another scene of Marcy and Brad. And again, it's easy to kind of brush past these scenes because, as you know, I did a crap ton of videos before the episode last night. So I actually did videos breaking down various clips we got prior to the episode. Kind of like this, Marcy still browsing around on the computer on Alex's computer, pulling up messages and whatnot. Suggests that all these guys she had been with, and you were her, and then of course we got together. Maybe we should both get tested to make sure we didn't catch anything, which I feel was a very good point. But then I feel like she oversteps her boundaries by suggesting that Alex gets taken to court due to not being, I guess you could say, a responsible parent, because you're giving her half your income, but she's not even here taking care of the kids. And then Brad rightfully is like, look, you're making me mad. I don't want to talk about it. And we don't. And it was a pretty sweet moment, pretty much Marcy reassuring the baby that no matter what happens, you're special. And it was an emotional scene. And I guess you could say that she couldn't really handle it because Brad came in and kind of took over, because I'm thinking Marcy is kind of like, still feeling the void of not having her own child, and holding this baby just represented so much from, the potential of it being Randall's child, but then it turned out not being his child. But we all know the turmoil Marcy had to deal with leading up to, that being revealed. And and really, some people are split between, man, why is Brad defending Alex, and like this isn't all on her. But the point is that, dang, Marcy, Peter and Paisley have been in their rooms asleep for God knows how long, but I just feel like, first of all, hopefully they didn't hear Marcy trash talk their own mother, but at the same time, Marcy has to realize that, at the end of the day, that is the mother of Brad's children. Yeah, I know some people are like, well, what if Peter and Paisley aren't? Now, I think they are Brad's children, just my opinion. But moving on to the next scene, we get Rick and Pat, and this is when the episode just kind of goes all over the place. So they're still at the nightclub. Looks like they're closing down, and just the back and forth banter between the two is like, 1 minute Rick seems like a sensible dude, like in the last episode, and Pat was the one who was all in his face in regards to like, oh yeah, you fine, or boy, you ain't nothing. But apparently because he had a few drinks, now Rick is trying to push up on her, and then it's just a nonstop battle. I'm going to call an Uber. You too drunk to drive? No, we want to stay here till we close, and yada yada. And again, nothing against the characters, but I feel like the dialogue was a bit stale because it's just the same old back and forth. Long story short, turns out she has a letter that's been notarized, so I'm going to assume she had this information already ready to go in her desk or something. She was just waiting on something to pop off so she can reveal it and expose the church. That's my guess, because that's the only sense that makes for that letter to be in such an official documentation, all ready to go on the same night that Rick had took her out for dancing and drinks. Then we go over to Steven, who goes to see Kelly. This is the next morning, so it's Monday. I want to assume Monday due to multiple reasons, but basically Kelly's doing fine. Thanks him for letting calling Lucien, and he would make sure Lucien comes to see her as soon as he comes to the office or the police station. Eddie is mad about the whole situation, and Steven's like, oh yeah, the process of the paperwork is going to take a while, so then you can leave, but don't count on it happening anytime soon. Esperanza arrives, and in this episode, points for Esperanza, saying that she's going to get the help that Steven recommended, that she's going to serve the papers to Eddie, and everything's going to be good to go. So thank goodness Esperanza is moving forward. I pray she does not move backwards, because I'm so happy that she's doing something in this episode. Then we go over to Larry and his wife, Mandy, who is Erica Page, who you should recognize as Bella True from Ambitions. Bring it back for season 2. But yeah, long story short, he's passed out from the SMS. His partner is too. He gets ready to leave. She was away for the weekend with some chick named Allison, and apparently she's going to be taken off the list for being too needy. But she did say something interesting, something in regards of the church and Ian, and something that Larry should check out when he gets to the office. Then we go back to Pat and Rick in a very similar situation to Larry and Mandy, where Pat comes out, sees Rick on the couch, assumes they slept together, but turns out they didn't. And again, they kind of had the same back and forth banter that they did at the club, which made this seem pretty redundant in the long run, which again, anyway, moving on, because again, there's really nothing to talk about here. We go over to Lou and Natalie. She's cooking breakfast for the kids, and he recommends, like, hey, why don't you quit your job at Burger Fast, because be a stay-at-home mom, because I want another baby. Something she'd think about. But first of all, when was the last time we heard Burger Fast, and where's this baby fever that Lucien has right now? Could this be foreshadowing to him being the baby's father? Yeah, I've already done a video on that, but I'll probably just do a video about why does Lucien have baby fever, and just, yeah, because it seems kind of out of the blue for Lou. I'm just saying, it kind of does. Then we go to Rick, who's at Natalie's house, and him and Lou pretty much compare notes. The fact that, hey, Pat gave me this notarized letter, and then Lucien talks about how Kelly has this information from Sister Margaret. So they're pretty confident that if everything falls into place, they should be able to take these people down from the church and get Kelly off. Then they head into the police station together. Eddie wants to get out of there ASAP. Steven comes up to him saying he's been charged and he'll have a day of court for the DUI. And then it's time for his responsibilities to come back on him. Pretty much getting a taste of what he's been deserving for quite a while now. But then we go over to Randall and Larry. Larry arrives at Randall's and again, I did a video on that one picture, and me and Chandler discussed that before the episode aired. And yeah, and I was just on the phone with my mom in the middle of recording this video. I had to take a break because she called from her lunch break. And it's like, didn't it look like Randall was looking through his garbage? Because I get it, he's trying to get his house back in order, so he's throwing stuff out, I suppose. But why are you looking through your trash? And he has that hardware, so I'm thinking, okay, what does this mean? So long story short, Larry shows up, pretty much, tries to get the SMS stuff again, but that ain't going to happen. He's like, hey, well, I could take that hardware into the forensic scientist to see if we can pull off of it to get proof as to who actually damaged your house, because Randall's still on that, I'm going to sue these people, but Larry's like, I need proof in order to do so. But he says, I don't have any cameras inside of my house, just outside. But then Larry's like, look, are you sure about that? He's like, what? You want to find that stuff from Eddie when that night we chained him up and everything? No, it's not that. I just wanted to let you know that when these forensic scientists look into this, they'll try to pull what they can from the damaged hardware. But, in case, just to let you know, in case there's someone there you don't want them to see. So it seems to me that Randall does have cameras hidden inside of his house, but he doesn't want Larry or those guys to know about it. So he's like, no, I'll just get some of the IT guys at the college to help me out with this. So then Larry drives like, hey, as soon as we find something, then I'm going to sue him. It's like, okay. So next thing you know, Larry pulls off. Then we go back to Esperanza and Kelly. Kelly's running her mouth when she shouldn't. Basically talking about how, I'm going to take my life back, which again, I like that part, but then going on about the whole church and this Travis thing, not the best idea. So moving forward, she serves Eddie the documents because Eddie is thinking that Lucien, Esperanza, Steve, and all of them are in this together in order to put him away for good. And, what are these people doing outside my damn window? I don't know. These people are literally talking right outside my damn window. But long story short, it's kind of like Randall. Eddie wants to kill everybody, but then he's really focusing on the wrong people. And then Randall wants to sue everyone except for the person who really destroyed his house, which was Bennett. So basically, serves in the papers, and he's pissed off. Next thing you know, her and Kelly give each other a high five. I love that moment, and she walks off. Then we get to final scene of the episode, Ian and Alex. Not too much to say here aside from they wake up. She doesn't know what happened. Said that he drugged and took advantage of her, and that's the end of the episode. That's pretty much it. So yeah, overall, this episode, I'm giving it like maybe a 6 out of 10. Again, it wasn't bad, but I feel like there was a lot of repetitive dialogue. Some scenes that were just dragged out for no reason. Way too many commercials. And I can't really fault the episode for that. That's the network. But for real, give us 2 minutes of the episode and then you give us 8 minutes of commercial. I feel like the episode, when it came to the commercial breaks, they could have divvied it up a little bit better. Because I feel like the first half of the episode was nonstop commercials. But then in the back half of the episode, I feel like they just rushed through everything. Like the pacing, or I guess you could say the switching from one scene to another, felt inorganic. It just felt like they Frankenstein everything together. Like the whole Pat and Rick scene, we only needed one of those scenes. Like why not them driving home from the dance club, or maybe a scene where it's like, okay, yeah, I took you out dancing for drinks. Now, can I come inside so we can discuss this information? I would have liked that better as opposed to them talking about this stuff out in the open at a freaking, club. So that would have been a great excuse for him to pass out on the couch because he had been drinking. It's like, okay, and then he just passes out after they had discussed everything, after he got the letter from her. So that's my issue with that. But kind of like last week, the first part of the episode was a bit slow, but then the good stuff happened in the back half. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. So with that being said, if you are new, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. On top of that, make sure you hit the like button, if you liked the video, and comment what was your favorite moment from the episode. Shout out to the patrons over on Patreon. And also, if you'd like to make some form of donation, you could do so either on PayPal or Cash App. I know a lot of y'all probably got those stimulus checks by now, so if you want to send like maybe $1 or $2 my way, that would be great. Seriously, if everybody watching this video sent $1, that can make a lot of stuff happen. Just saying. But with that being said, I do have the trailer for next week. Not HD, but it is decent quality, so maybe I'll wait until tomorrow. Typically on Thursdays when they upload the trailer to the own YouTube channel. So since we don't have, oh yeah, that's right, Sisters comes on tonight. Ruthless doesn't come back until the 30th. So after Sisters tonight, and I do an episode review and a trailer breakdown for the finale, that's pretty much it for Sisters until it comes back for the final episode next week. And yeah, definitely got some Patreon stuff coming up. So patrons, stuff is coming later this week/weekend. Stay safe. It's actually a beautiful day outside. I did take out the trash and check the mail, but just to be on the safe side, really just staying in, doing some work. But hope everybody's doing well, stays well, and I will talk to you all soon.